Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we are joined by a guest we've had on the channel before, by the name of Rohdak. And we will be going through and ranking all of the live-action Spider-Man movies from Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, as well as Tom Holland. And I hope you guys enjoy. Roll the intro! Alright, so first up here we have, is this the first Amazing Spider-Man? No, this is the second one. With the, all the blue and shit like that in the background.
Yeah, I got you.
So it's the second Amazing Spider-Man. What do you think of that one?
I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people don't enjoy The Amazing Spider-Man, but I gotta say they are quite fun, especially this second one. The first one was good, but I feel like the second one topped it off for me. I like the villain.
The second one, which one was the villain in that again? It's been so long since I've seen those.
It's the electric guy. I can't remember his name.
Oh, Electro. Okay, I couldn't remember which one was Electro and which one was Rhino and shit like that. I honestly don't remember too much about the Amazing Spider-Man 1 or 2.
It's been a while since I've watched them.
Yeah, I think I've only watched them once.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
The Amazing Spider-Man movies, I would probably be like they're decent. They're not necessarily mid, but they're not necessarily full blown S tier.
No, definitely not. No. They're good to watch. I think they're fun. I think they add a different perspective of Spider-Man. I feel like.
Yeah. So personally, with Electro, I would probably Jamie Foxx Electro. I kind of liked him in that role. I would probably rank it personally for Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 at a B.
I agree with that. Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a bad movie. I wouldn't say it was one of the best. I'd definitely put it in the middle.
However, let's just go ahead and do the first Amazing Spider-Man, since we're on the topic of The Amazing Spider-Man. What do you think about that one?
Like I said before, I think they're both great movies. It adds a different perspective of Peter Parker. You know, with Andrew Garfield playing it, he kind of showed a more sensitive side to Spider-Man.
Yeah,
in my opinion, you know, it kind of adds a what's the word? It's kind of it's just a completely different perspective of what Peter Parker usually is. Is usually, you know, he starts out really cowardly and a bit of a nerd type person, but then builds into this superhero type thing. But I think from the get-go, Peter Parker's in The Amazing Spider-Man comes off as, sure, he's shy, but he's got that what's the word, confidence about him straight off the bat. And he kind of, as you watch through the start of the movie, he kind of has that sensitive side to him.
Yeah, I get that. Though personally, with the first Amazing Spider-Man, I wasn't a fan of the Rhino. As a villain, the way they portrayed him, I did not like.
Yeah. No, they kind of made him weak.
Yeah, and I didn't really buy into the whole mechanized Rhino suit and shit like that. So personally, I'd probably say a C or a D, a high D or a low C.
I'd definitely put it. See, I'd definitely put C. I don't think it was a bad movie. I just think things were portrayed wrong, like you said.
Okay,
they didn't quite hit the nail on the head.
So you're saying C, and I'm saying high D, low C. So we'll go ahead with C.
Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't like the at all.
No, yeah.
Okay, so this next one up is this Spider-Man 1?
Which one?
The one on the far left with just him climbing up the glass.
Yeah, that's the first one. Yep.
Okay.
Is it?
That is a very good. Because then there's the one with MJ in it, and I'm like, which one's the second one and which one's the first?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
The one him climbing on the windows is the first one.
Okay. Okay, so with this, I definitely think the very first one was the best out of the original Tobey Maguire ones. I think this one was the all-time best, and I would probably rank it as S tier. Personally.
I couldn't agree more. This goes straight into the top tier of
Yeah.
Spider-Man movies for me.
However,
There's no question.
however, on the other hand, you got Spider-Man 3, which
Yeah, that's true.
which I'm going to just say flat out D tier for me for Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, it was but Bully
So
Maguire kind of made it.
So much freaking cringe, and it's not like the good kind of cringe to where you can laugh. It's just so much cringe. I mean, I guess you can laugh sort of because like it is meme worthy, but it is just so bad and so cringy.
It's
That
kind
is
of
why
bad,
it's
yeah.
a meme. So I'm saying
Yeah.
straight out D tier.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I don't think it was it was a good film. You can't deny it was not a good film. It was just like it was just full of cringe and full of moments that just kind of didn't make sense, really, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
like the scene of him, like the takes of him going down the street with his dancing and like pointing at chicks and shit like that. I was just the whole time as a kid, I'm like,
What the fuck is
this
this?
isn't how a guy is supposed to get a girl, is it? Like little child me is like, I'm confused. Are you supposed to
Mom.
just chat? Like I thought you were supposed to be nice to women. Like, should I just start walking down the street and winking and pointing at them and like looking at them inappropriately? Like, what the fuck?
I'm just gonna go outside and start dancing and hope someone talks to me.
Yeah, little kid me was so confused about how I should try to treat a girl. So where would you rank it?
I think, yeah, I think D. I don't. It definitely didn't live up to the hype of 1 and 2. I think it
Yeah.
kind of went downhill. So yeah, I agree with that. I think D.
All right. Now with 2, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man number 2.
I've
Uh,
got to put that.
huh?
I think that's got to go A, in my opinion. It wasn't as good as the first, but it definitely lived up the hype. It
You
definitely
know what?
carried on.
Yeah, I will definitely agree with that. Um, yeah, I definitely agree with it going into A because it was still pretty damn good, but it wasn't like, and it was better than the Amazing Spider-Man
Yeah.
duology. But
Yeah,
compared to that
absolutely. Yeah.
duology, like, and obviously way freaking better than the third.
Yeah.
So I'll go
Yeah,
ahead and toss it
100%.
into A.
So the reason I put the first one into S tier, like the first Tobey Maguire movies, that opened me up to Spider-Man. It was the first, I believe it was the first thing I watched of Spider-Man. I mean,
Same
I
here,
read
actually.
I read like comics, and I think there was the I think it was 1980s Spider-Man animation that was on TV. I believe
Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
bits and bobs of that.
Yeah, I remember seeing bits and bobs of various like Spider-Man cartoons and
Yeah,
based on the comics and shit like that. Um, yeah, I think that was like my first introduction into Spider-Man. Really.
yeah, me too. Yeah.
When did it come out? Like it was the early 2000s.
Oh, yeah, it
So I
was
was still little. Like I was born in '95, so like
2002. It came out.
okay, I was literally what 7 when it came out. So yeah, that was
Yeah,
like probably the biggest, at least if not the very first introduction to it. It was
yeah,
at least the biggest kind of piece of Spider-Man I got as a kid. That
yeah,
really
absolutely. Yeah,
influenced
me
me.
too. Yeah,
I was your typical boy loving Spider-Man, dressing up as him for Halloween,
yeah.
and I feel like every boy has done that.
Oh yeah, they've
At
got
least
to.
from our generation, anyways. Nowadays, I'm not even gonna get into that. Poor kids. Okay, so let's see here. So No Way Home. So it's the one with the Avengers Tower in the background. I mean Homecoming. Homecoming is the one with
Homecoming,
the.
and that was the one with Vulture, right?
Yep, that was the very first Tom Holland one. Um,
Okay.
I'll let you start off with
So
this one. What did you think of it?
okay, so I've not seen these movies in a long time. I've watched. I actually only just recently, within a few months, watched the new one. Is it Far From Home? Is it the new one?
The new
with all
one,
three.
the newest one is No Way Home.
No Way Home. Sorry, yeah. So this first one, I enjoyed it. I think the actor's great. Tom Holland. He's like a really good representation of what Spider-Man should be or what is. The villain was great. I thought the villain was cool. I've seen the actor in multiple different movies, and he's always been great. Overall, great movie. I can't really say anything bad about it from what I remember. So
Honestly, go ahead.
if I had to put it anywhere, I think I'd put it in front of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 in B, so high B.
Okay. I'll go ahead and set it there for now. So my opinion on it is Tom Holland. When it came to like the Amazing Spider-Man and showing Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker in high school and whatnot, he's a good actor and all. He did really good with portraying emotion and all of those things, like when Gwen died and stuff like that. But I don't think him and Toby during the scenes that they were still in high school. Granted, for Toby, it was only part of the first chunk of the first movie, and that's it. But I think out of the three of them, Tom Holland did the best, being a convincing teenager.
Yeah, definitely. I think because he's young as well, so young as well.
Well, I mean, he's in his 20s, but his acting and everything really sells that, like, making him come off as younger and nerdy. And I really freaking love that. And it's adapting it to the modern day version of it rather than, like, the old comic booky ones from back in,
that's true.
decades past. Because, like, it's a modern version of the comic book Spider-Man when he was still in school. So I really think, sure, we didn't really get shown the bite, but I mean, we were shown the bite in the two other versions of Peter Parker. Like,
yeah,
we needed something new and fresh, and I really like this. And they just made a reference to it. It's like, yeah, he was still bitten, but we're not going to focus on that like the others did.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, we already know that he gets it from a freaking radioactive spider. Like, we don't have to recap that for the third time. Like,
yeah.
So, and I don't know. The Vulture was a pretty decent villain. What was the guy's name again? The actor? Oh my god, why am I drawing a blank? I'm drawing a blank on the actor's name, but he did a pretty good job with that, and like the scene in the car when they're going to like prom and shit like that, like the protective dad yet secretly a villain vibe and stuff like that. It was pretty damn good. Though I have to say it was not my favorite of the three Tom Holland movies.
No,
So
me neither, no.
I will agree with B on this for Homecoming. Good. So yeah, I'll agree with B on that. So up next we have Far From Home, which had Fury in it, Jake Gyllenhaal playing my brain doesn't
Mysterio.
Yes, Mysterio. I was like, it's an M name.
I was thinking Mystique, but that's fucking X-Men, isn't it?
I was thinking, I when I was about to say his name, I almost said Mystique, and I'm like, no, that's freaking what's her face from Hunger Games.
The sexy blue chick from X-Men.
Yeah, freaking Jennifer Lawrence from Hunger Games played her, and yeah. Don't even get me started on some of those X-Men movies. Okay, so yeah, with Jake Gyllenhaal and Fury's back, and they went on that field trip, and honestly, I really kind of like the whole like oh dude, the freaking spider monkey.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that his name, Spider Monkey or something like that?
Something I've not watched this one for a while.
Or Night Monkey or something like that. Something monkey. And that was just hilarious seeing Ned trying to explain that away. So for comedic effect, that scene really got me good. And overall, like the effects and stuff, the effects were really great and kind of like believable. Like obviously we know it's not real, but
Wait,
At the
it's
same
not?
time, it's convincing. It's like, okay, it doesn't look hardcore fake, like someone just fucking slapped in some Photoshop effects.
No, yeah.
Like it
Have you
doesn't
seen
look
some of the
fake. Huh?
have you seen some of the behind the scenes stuff that Tom Holland was doing? Dude gets
Uh,
ripped apart. I think there's one scene where there's like water that comes up and he's like gets smashed over onto a bridge.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's like actually doing it. He's like harnessed up to like this chest harness, and they release like tons of water over on this bridge, and they absolutely smash him against the back of this bridge. It's insane.
Yeah, he does some of his own stunts and stuff too, like the
Yeah,
whole
they're
jumping over the
incredible.
bed, the jumping over the bed in the first one when he was like doing the vlog, like the recording of himself, and he went and jumped over the bed to answer the door. That was actually him doing it, not a stunt guy.
Yeah,
Like
he's insane.
yeah, he was in gymnastics, so it's
Hmm.
like, bro, like just like freaking Jackie Chan doing his own stunts and shit. Like I
Yeah,
respect people who are willing to do the shit themselves and not be like, oh no,
yeah,
I'm gonna pass
absolutely.
the danger off onto someone else so I don't get hurt, but there's a chance that they might. But
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
like, no, I have these skills, I can do it myself.
yeah. I feel like he
Obviously,
definitely brought Spider-Man to life for me.
yeah. And obviously, like, I'm not saying, like, if they're not trained to do stunts and shit like that, then no, don't do it. Like, I don't
No,
want
yeah,
someone getting hurt. I would rather someone trained in how to properly do it, do it. But the fact that he's willing to do some of the stunts himself because he has that background is awesome.
yeah, it is. Yep.
Um, yeah, what do you got to say about it, dude?
Mm. Great movie all round. I thought it was an interesting movie. It kept me on the edge of my seat. Not gonna lie. Um, I don't know where I'd rank this, to be honest. It's a hard decision because it was good. It was really good. And from what, like I say, I've not seen this movie for a long time, so it's hard to piece together all the scenes. But overall, I
Um,
definitely put it between B and A. If there was a separate tier, I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint where I'd actually put this.
yeah. Okay. So looking at we have Homecoming there. Is it better than Homecoming and the first Amazing Spider-Man? Or no, the second Amazing
Ye-
Spider-Man.
Yes, it was. Yep.
Better than both of those? Which I agree with.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's better than both,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Now compare it to Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2. Is
Hmm.
it below that or about equal?
I think you know what saying. I think it's got to be better than Spider-Man 2.
Really, you think?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to put it in. No, I think A, but behind Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man
I,
2 hits home for me. There's a lot of childhood memories between that.
yeah, nostalgic wise, obviously, I would go with the
Yeah,
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2 for Far From Home. However, like they have two completely different atmospheres and
yeah.
vibes about them. So it's hard for me to compare. So let's just go with A and leave it at that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put it behind Spider-Man 2 on A. It's definitely a good movie.
Yeah. Um, I would say it's pretty close to Spider-Man 2, but it does
Yeah,
it
they're
over.
almost
Is
equal.
it better or worse? I don't know because of the vibe is totally different. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's like modern and old in that you can't really.
yeah,
There's no comparison really. I think they're about equal in my opinion.
I mean they're like freaking 20 years apart. Well, not they're like 15 to 20 years apart, and it's like totally different worlds that it's being created in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, okay, and then we got the last one, Spider-Man: No Way Home. And oh my fucking god, you want to go first before I burst?
Right. So this is where it gets tricky because this is kind of like the same situation as what we just went through. It's a really amazing movie and I enjoyed every second of it. But I think it's equal to the first Spider. Like it's like the start and end. You know what I mean? It's like my journey from start to finish. It's kind of like we started with a banger, we ended with a banger. It's
Yeah,
like
exactly. And in all honesty, like it has all three of them in it. So to be
exactly, yeah,
sure, it's more focused on Tom Holland's Peter Parker, but you still have the other two there very prominently. And so to
Definitely.
me, it feels like it's not a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. It is the Spider-Man movie because it
Yeah,
has
that's
all of
it.
them. It is
Yeah,
the Spider-Man movie, and
it's
it,
definitely S tier.
yeah, and all of the comedy, and they even bringing in the memes when they're all in their lab coats and they're pointing at each other. Like they did fan service right with this movie. This is how fan service should be done, and meme
Absolutely.
service and everything. So I'm going freaking hardcore S tier. What's your say?
Yeah, no, I agree. S tier. It's just like I don't see from a memory and nostalgic perspective. I would put Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 1 movie in front of No Way Home.
Yeah.
But on a different level, it's kind of like this movie was out of this world. This Spider-Man movie made the rest of them look like doo doo.
Okay,
You know,
so
this
from the
this was
yeah.
like out of this world. It was so good. Like I say, I enjoyed every second of it. There was no part in this movie where I thought, you know what, this isn't what it's supposed to be. It was absolutely amazing, start to end.
Yeah.
So
So
it's kind of
if you look at the way we have them tiered out, okay? So we start off S tier, like with the very first Spider-Man movie, and we drop down to A, Spider-Man 2, and then Amazing Spider-Man's down in C, and like I don't know, I just feel like we kind of went like the newer they got, it dipped down and then went back up.
yeah.
Like so that's just a
It
huge
kind of all
dip and back
depends.
up.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And I gotta say, the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 were probably out of the three Spider-Mans, or Spider-Man whatever. I would say the Amazing Spider-Man is my least favorite overall. Like, talking about the overall, like, both Amazing
yeah,
Spider-Man
yeah,
movies versus all three Tobey ones and all three Tom Holland ones.
yeah. I
I
agree with that.
Yeah, that's the worst one. Nothing against Andrew Garfield because he is a really good actor.
No, yeah,
Um,
he played Spider-Man well. I just think the way that they made the film, the way the
yeah.
films played out, was kind of dry and boring.
And now that I think about it, the Rhino kind of gives me Bruce Banner in the Hulk Smasher
Yeah, true.
vibes. When his like you just see his head popping out of it, and it's like that kind of looks a little janky and weird. Just a small human head popping out of this massive machine.
Oh god.
Yes. So, are you happy with where we ranked everything?
Yes, I feel like we've done it justice. From my opinions, yeah, I think that's you know, I think that's
Hmm.
great. I think that
Yeah.
looks good.
All right, man. Well, thank you for joining me for this video, for this tier list maker. I honestly thought it would only go like 10 minutes of recording, but we're already over 20. Um,
Time
yeah,
flies when you're looking at Spider-Man.
yeah. Time flies. Well, I almost said when you're looking at America's ass, but Captain America has that. All right. Well, thanks, man.
Yeah, no worries.